Well, hey folks, how's it going today? I hope you're all doing really good. Well, we got this Strat on the bench here. I'm just getting ready to put it back together. This one I had to fix a dent, and there was a big chip of paint missing, and it was right to the wood. It's not perfect. You can see a spot here, okay? It is full. You can't, really feel nothing. It's not going to crack or chip again, that's for sure. In hindsight, I think the problem was this. I think I should have put a little bit of primer on the wood first, then added the color match paint. It seemed to flash off at a little bit different color. So, that's just something to keep in mind if you're going to do this kind of stuff. Another option is fingernail polish. A lot of times you can match some colors with that as well. But in any case, we've got it fixed, so it's not going to crack and open up anymore. If I had to name this guitar, I'd probably call it Spot. Anyway, we're going to put the neck back on it and screw the pick guard back down and get some strings on it, get the knobs back on and all that stuff. So let's get right to it. Okay, so I've got the frets all polished. They're just like mirrors. They feel really good. I always run my fingernail across to see if I feel anything. If you feel any nick, a ding, a scratch, or anything with your fingernail, your string is definitely going to feel it too. Okay, so we got a bunch of loose tuners here. This is how the guitar came in. So I got a 10mm wrench out here. A ratchet wrench in particular, and that one's still got a string on it. That's what's getting me. All right, let's get that out of there. Okay, let's try that again. Yeah, these are really, really loose. I run into this constantly on, Squiers, Epiphones, even Fenders, though, even, Mexican and USA ones. This stuff does happen. They'll loosen up from vibration eventually if they're not tight enough to start with. Now, I don't crank them right down super tight, but I snug them up pretty good, as much as I dare to. I guess that's kind of the rule of thumb. If it feels like they're getting pretty tight, it's a good time to stop. It's really a fine thread you're dealing with, and you can strip them. Okay, that takes care of that. Okay, I found the parts that go to this one. Here's another little trick that I've been doing for a while now, quite a few years actually. You know how you get all that dirt and gunk down in around your saddles? Keep an old toothbrush, buy a toothbrush at the dollar store or whatever. Save your old one. And that works really well to get all that gunk out of there, down in the saddles. You can even get in the springs with it, and it doesn't scratch your guitar. Okay, we're going to stick the knobs back on here. And those look pretty clean. You can get those cleaned up with a toothbrush as well. All those little grooves in your knobs here. Just kind of go back and forth with them. And that does work pretty good too. Okay, so let's set that one right on there. I don't know, do you guys line them up straight so it says tone at a certain angle? It doesn't matter to me. It's just become a habit with giving other people's guitars back to them. I guess if you have to look and see if it's a tone knob or what number it is, it's probably too late. All right, let's get some screws in the guard here. Okay, well, as you guys probably already know this, when you put these in, don't crank them in there too tight. Just snug it up till it hits the guard and it kind of goes down into the countersunk hole. When you start to feel some resistance, call her good right there. A lot of times them get stripped out, which is pretty common. A good way to fix it is just to take a piece of a toothpick and stick it in there and break it off. And you don't even have to glue it in. Just put the screw right in there, and it will go in there, and it will bite on the threads of the screw, and you're good to go. The next time you change your guide, you may have to put a new piece of toothpick in there or something, and you can glue them in there as well if you'd like. I do put these in by hand though. As you can see, I don't use a lot of power tools on, guitar maintenance as a rule, just because a lot of the screws and the hardware are really kind of cheesy, and they strip extremely easy. So I try to use a really good screwdriver first of all. Don't use a cheap screwdriver on them. That's why they get stripped. Okay, well, we're running out of screws, so that's a good sign. Okay, on to the neck bolts. Now, when I bolt the neck up, usually what I do is I'll hold it in the pocket tight and just kind of pinch my thumb and my hand like this. And just hold the neck in there, give it a good squeeze. I'll get one bolt started in and put that in and just kind of snug it. Now, I don't crank it right up tight yet. Just make sure I get all the other ones started in there correctly. And the same with that. I'm going to hold that up, and I'm going to probably tighten this one opposite corner first, and then I'll proceed to the next one in the back. So again, I'm going to hold this up like this. Take my screwdriver. And this is just to get started. Now I'm going to check the alignment of the neck too, but a lot of times this will get you right where you need to be. I was watching a video earlier on a guy's channel. He was a repair guy. He had a video about neck shims, putting a shim in the pocket of the neck. And he was talking about how much it killed the sound and it makes the guitar sound muted. In particular, he was talking about full pocket shims, wooden or whatever you want to use. But he said he could hear a big difference in the sound. I've always just used guitar picks and that kind of thing, and it's never affected the sound that I've noticed. Now, one thing I will say that you can try is this. Okay, we're just going to snug these up. Again, don't strip these out. Just get them tight. Go around all of them and just give them all the same amount of torque with your screwdriver. Okay, so here's my theory about the neck and shims in the neck pocket. Now, I do realize everything that you do to a guitar can change the sound of it, obviously. Now, this is something that I always do. If I take a neck off a guitar, or I change one, or anything like that, if the neck gets loosened at all, this is what I like to do. And I've done this on new guitars as well. String it up. Tune it up to pitch, okay? Then what I want you to do, or if you want to, it's not that I want you to do it, but this is how I do it. Tune it up to pitch, and I crack these screws just a little bit. I'll just back them off maybe 1/8 of a turn, just enough so you can hear it kind of make that little crackle sound, okay? Loosen every one of them up. And then go down here on the headstock, set the guitar on your feet or whatever, and give that headstock a pretty good tap with your hand. Now, a lot of people are going to be skeptical of this, but this is the theory behind it. Take your guitar strung up, put your strap on, play it, strum a chord, and then touch the end of the headstock on a table. you'll see how much it amplifies the sound, okay? And it rings and rings and rings. Well, guess what? It's no different on this end of the neck either. If that heel is not touching in the back of that neck pocket where it's supposed to be, it's going to numb the sound. Now, if you want to disagree with me, that's fine, but just give it a try sometime. Check your guitar, play it acoustically unplugged, crack the neck bolts a little bit, give it a tunk on the headstock, and you don't have to tap it much because the strings are putting whatever 100+ pounds of pull on the neck in this direction too. So that's a good thing to try. A lot of times the necks are bolted on, then the guitars are strung up, and that's never ever thought of. So just thought I'd share that with you too. Okay, so somebody's got the springs in on an angle. I don't understand it, but I'm going to put them, a lot of guys will run 5. I think 3's plenty. I'll just put them straight. Okay, so we got those straightened around. I'm going to leave the back plate off it for now, and the reason why is I may have to adjust this spring claw here, okay? Now you want that even on both sides. It's not a bad idea to, stick something in there, like a string winder or something, so you got the same space, and then just tighten the screws up to it, and then it's even. All right, time for some strings. We're going to throw some nickel rockers on it, 10 through 50s. This is what the owner, I should say, plays. It's 10 gauge, so we're going to string her up with 10s. And I know what he likes for action. He doesn't like super low action. He likes it just, kind of comfortable, but so that way you can get under the notes to bend them. And I've set up a bunch of guitars, and he's played a bunch of mine. We've had many conversations about setup and preference, so it's nice that I know that going in. Okay, so we got 3 good wraps on them on that one. And what I like to do, I don't tie knots. I don't do the over-under thing. Never have. I'll wrap the wraps around. I'll take my fingernail and just kind of get the last wrap and push it up tight. So that way when I go to stretch the strings, it'll already be in place and ready to roll. All right, let's get the A string. Another thing, I never hold the string in the nut while I'm winding it up. I just kind of push down and let it kind of ride over the nut easy. That way I'm not cutting the nut with the winds of the string. All right, there's the A. Sure makes things easier to string up when you don't have that back plate on. I leave mine off a lot of my Strats, honestly. There is quite a difference in sound. You can try it, like hold the guitar away from your body, strum it, then put the guitar up close to your body. I'm talking with the plate removed, and you can hear an audible difference. Okay, so up on this end of the equation, what I do, I run the string right through the machine head, then I'll make a bend like that, a 90-degree, try to bend it straight up, basically. And I'll just start winding it on. Now you can see that I'm holding the string kind of down where this is cupped out and not in the nut slot. I don't let it touch the nut until it's pretty much tight, you know what I mean? Depending on how much you change your strings, that can wear the nut down pretty good. Now I'm not saying press it right to the wood either, because that'll scratch your guitar and you don't want to do that. So I just kind of hold a little tension on it. And that's it. I'll go down, I'll push the winds up tight. Done. Take my thing, clip them. And that's pretty much how I do it. Like I said, I don't tie them, I don't over-under them, nothing. I like to get a good amount of wraps on them, though, so that way the break angle is much better up here, okay? Okay, folks, well, we got the strings on it. All the dust is settled, finally. And we've got some pretty high action. Just sighting down it. I've seen worse, but that's pretty tall. I've lowered these, and of course these are the ones that protrude up through, which we'll probably have to get some short ones or grind them ones down. Now, the action's not that bad down there. We have quite a bit of height here in the nut that needs to be cut out of the nut slots, as you can see. You know, you can push down on the third, and you should hear that tinking sound. If you don't, then it's too low, but you can see that these are pretty high, so that can throw your intonation out as well. When you push down on the strings to play a chord, you can actually push it down past, and it'll dip in between the frets and make the note sharp. That can really affect you in the first few frets down here if your nut is too tall. So we need to address that next, and I'm going to work on these too. I did check the 6 bridge bolts here, bridge screws, and I just kind of run them down till they just hit the plate, and I back them off a little bit. I don't want them too tight because it will tip the bridge forward. I don't want them too loose so it's sloppy. If you do use the tremolo, you don't want it to go clunk, 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 You want that as smooth as you can get it. So I try to just focus on the 2 outside ones the most, and maybe loosen the middle ones up a little bit more. So it's just kind of working on the 2 posts. Other than that, this thing is in very nice shape. The neck feels really, really nice on it. It's got a good profile, good feel to it. Nice size fret wire as well. All the tuners work nice. And I did plug it in. The electronics work great too. So after I get this all finished up and get this action taken care of, then we'll plug it in and see what it sounds like. Until then, thanks for watching. I really appreciate all the views and the nice comments. And we'll see you guys real soon. Be good. Okie doke.